Welcome to the Relentless Leadership Podcast. I'm excited because we have an amazing guest today, the rebel fucking millionaire, Kat Ruth. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here because I know it's going to be fire and gold and flow.
This is what we do. We've known each other a long time. We've never done a podcast together.
It's stupid.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we've selfishly had tons of conversations that we've kept to ourselves.
I know. And now it's time to share with the world.
That's right.
So, how good's life?
So in the vibe of life right now, in the dance with life and soul and
It's amazing, isn't it?
just pulling down all the things.
Yeah, 100%.
You know.
You're absolutely crushing it. And I think our audiences are going to get some amazing, amazing benefits from your story, from your mindset, and just how you attack life every single day. So, again, I'm really excited. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for asking me.
So let's talk a little bit about business, because this is what we love. We love the grind. We love business. And you are incredibly successful. You are a self-made millionaire, the rebel fucking millionaire, as I like to call you, and so do so many other people. Thank you, my friend. But in the business game, in the entrepreneurial game, life was not always so rosy. I mean, every entrepreneur starts in a place that is less than. And we were there, and I know you were there as well. Can you tell us about how you started your entrepreneurial journey and talk about a few of those earlier moments, and then we can sort of fast forward a little bit?
Yeah, cool. So I, like a lot of people I come across, and I'm going to guess like a lot of people watching, listening to this, I always had that calling or that knowing that, you know, that feeling of being different, right? Even from being a little kid, just feeling like I'm not like everyone else and I don't really know what that means. And maybe everyone feels that in some way. But for me, it was very clear from before I could even put it into words that I wasn't going to live a normal life. I wasn't going to be told what to do, and I wasn't going to go into the system. Obviously, as a kid, I couldn't express all that, but I can remember feeling it, and I remember different points along the journey where I kind of, you know, it was like this contradiction because I was the good girl in the school square and I always wanted to get the highest marks, and that was like an expectation in my family, and I was the A+ student. So I liked to be the teacher's pet and to be kind of validated. But at the same time, anytime something just didn't feel right or something was being said to us as this is how it is in life, so many moments along the way in school or with friends or whatever where I'd be like, no. And then I'd turn from being this shy, introverted, hide in the bushes at the play break, which I did with my books, little girl or teenager, into being kind of like this and firing up and like getting kicked out of class or storming off on my friends or whatever it might be. So there was always that, I guess, rebel or screw the system type vibe. And gradually it came through. But the entrepreneurial side of it, I mean, gosh, like I was selling oranges and lemons door to door when I was 3 years old that I got from my grandparents' tree, and drawing little pictures and sell them to the neighbours for 10 cents. And then I figured out at about the age of 4 that if I took my little brother with me, we'd do more sales because he was so little and cute. And I'd always be like, Ashley wants to come with me into mum, and walk up and down to the neighbours. And it's so funny because he's now the chief operating officer of my company. So I like to say, like, he's been helping me make more money since he was like 1 year old, and he's still helping.
It's true,
So there was lots of entrepreneurial stuff along the way. I was always getting shut down for doing black market things on the schoolyard, and then starting little clubs and making my friends do weird rituals and initiations, and it's pretty much just still what I do, but now with adults. And it was always a tuning into, I guess, becoming who I was always going to be. But then at the same time, like most entrepreneurs and most creators and most messengers, there was, it's like the two sides of you, the confidence and the certainty and the I'm not going to do that and this is what I'm going to do part of you, and the part of you that goes into flow and figures stuff out and just makes money or creates cool shit or whatever. And then there's the part of you who questions herself or himself and feels like, oh, I'm not good enough, and can I do that, and how do I do that? And I think for me, a big part of my journey has been getting myself comfortable in certain environments and essentially establishing myself as a leader and a winner and so on. And then seeing that next level that I know I'm meant to step into and feeling like, well, I'm not good enough for that and I can't do that. So when we met, which I feel is nearly maybe 15 years ago now, definitely well over 10, I was, like you would have come in and seen me in that environment. I was leader, winner, kicking butt within the personal training industry. And yeah, one of the ones that was training and mentoring and guiding others. But I was setting my sights on, I guess, where I am now and wanting to write and speak and be known for my writing. And I didn't know all the details of what I wanted to do, but I knew the vibe of it. But I remember being in conversations with my partner at the time, just walking around the Botanic Gardens in Melbourne always, and over again talking about wanting to do, seminars or speaking or writing, and saying to him, I don't know how I'm going to do that, and who's going to pay for it and who's going to buy. And then I'd try and run these little seminars in the gym, and sometimes they work and sometimes no. And that's what it was. It was just this continual adjusting and like dialing in more and more into, I guess, your path of alignment and being willing to just keep moving forward. And I think, you know, you and I don't remember exactly how we first really started to connect more so as friends, but it's that like-minded thing of, even within, you know, an industry of supposedly entrepreneurs. I don't want to make fun of the person I'm trying to industry accidentally. But there were certain ones of us, actually a lot of us back in that crew at the time who, well, we were always going to be different even within the different ones. And that's been my thing. Like, I always align into these groups of people who are not really in the system and don't want to be in the system, and they're different. But then even in those groups, I'm like, but I'm still different to all of you. And like, I still feel like no one really gets what I'm thinking. And I know you're one of those few people along the way where I'm like, okay, this person actually like just creates not just from the physical world, right? And even at a young age, you can kind of see that in someone and you can feel it in yourself. And so, as you know, being that sort of person, you just naturally pick yourself up and you just don't have it in you to stay down, and you don't have it in you to stay within the confines of even the world you've created for yourself. So I don't even know if I answered your question, but that's what came out.
It was perfect. And I love so much of what you just said, by the way. And again, being uncommon amongst the uncommon, it's something that I strive for as well and constantly want to focus on, and you definitely do. And I love what you said about knowing that you were different from the start. And I think you're right. So many people do have that feeling where at a really young age, they feel like they are different. But of course, through social conditioning, through fears, through limiting beliefs, through different areas, people stifle that creative and that passion and that energy to try something different. For those people that are potentially feel that right now, and those entrepreneurs or even just individuals that know they're born to do something fucking more than they're doing right now, what do you have to say to those people?
What you feel inside of you is real. It is available. It's available now, and it's available specifically for you. And I want to break that down a little further. If there was one thing I wish I would have known from the start, you know, it's fine because I got to go on the journey I got to go on. So I obviously needed those lessons and got to experience those lessons. But if I knew what I knew now and I could go back in time, the thing I wish I would have done sooner is go all in, just relentlessly, fully, madly, deeply on being me and knowing that ultimately I know somewhere within me what's right for me. And even if it's going to be messy and crazy and like make no sense and look half the time looks like you're sabotaging yourself or that you're literally just, I don't know, exposing your shit to the world or who knows what else, that's you following your aligned path. And I kind of gradually figured this out. And I remember one particular moment where I had these mentors that were amazing mentors. I'd spent, you know, as you do, as some of us do in this industry, tens and tens of thousands of dollars. So happy that I spent that money to this day. But I remember getting to a certain point and just kind of listening to what they were saying and thinking, no, like I know you're making a lot more money than me right now and you're further along and I respect that. But no, I don't think you're right. I think you're wrong, because I would repeatedly have mentors, a few different ones, tell me that what I was talking about wanting to do was kind of cute and that it wouldn't work. And it was, I kept getting this thing where people would tell me I was being cute, like, oh, that's cute, Kat. And I was like,
geez, patronizing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I listened to it at first and I'd adjust and I'd dial back and I tried, like it was that good girl student part coming out again. Like I want to be the teacher's pet and I want to do what's right and I want to like follow my leaders or the people that I've hired as mentors or whatever or that I look up to. And then eventually it got to this point, which I feel like was my soul just getting to a point of wanting to explode out of my body and start tearing shit up because I'd suppressed it for so long. And eventually this point was just, no, you know what? Like you're really fucking good at what you do. you're never going to do a great job of being me. Like, I'm sorry, but you suck at this job.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's going to crush the job of being Katrina Ruth.
Yeah.
You're not going to do it. And you don't actually know better than me what's right for me. And it wasn't like defiance, even though it did come out as defiance. It was still like recognizing, of course, I can learn and grow from other people, but ultimately no one can know better than me. Nobody can know better than anyone, like what is best for that person. And at some point as an entrepreneur, if you want to get out of like the mediocre realms of entrepreneurialism, which is very achievable in this day and age, like anyone can make some money online and replace their income, and that's great. But we're talking about the born for it called entrepreneurs who truly are here to be a shift in the world. If you want to actually live into that destiny rather than just, I had a destiny and then died, which is reality for a lot of people, you have to at some point go all in on being you. Like there has to be a line in the sand moment where you're like, that's it, I'm fucking done. I don't care how much things don't work or it falls apart, or even if I never make another cent again, I'm going to go all in on doing this. And that's what I did. And it definitely happened, you know, in a few waves or a few different points along the journey. So for those who are listening and you know you have a deeper calling and you really see yourself as being someone who, you know, let's not be shy about it, who wants to make a fuckload of money and also impact a lot of people and do really big things, and maybe the things you dream of, you feel like, well, who's even really doing that, or could I do that? Or you feel like, well, this is the approved way. Like, who the fuck approved that anyways? Like, who's the god of this industry, right? I just want you to really feel into the reality that at some point when you look back and you share your story, you're not going to say, oh, well, gee, I got there because I listened to the people who told me exactly how to be me and then I followed it like a lemming. No, you're going to talk about, I finally, you know, was willing to back myself and was brave enough to back myself. And I finally realized that being courageous or having faith or being brave enough to back yourself is not something you like earn or attain at some point or you, congratulations, you're now allowed to be brave. It's just a choice and you can make that choice now.
Yeah, I love that. So do you think going all in on you is more about just trusting that you can pull it off no matter what, that there's a way, there's always a fucking way, there's always another way right now, end of story?
Yeah.
Do you think it's more about that, or do you think it's more about tuning into your intuition, or maybe it's about both for people that are trying to decipher what that really is for them?
Yeah, it's definitely both. It's been completely unavailable to not get the exact outcome that you want, that you see inside of you. Like essentially, one of my personal philosophies or policies is whatever I see inside of me, whether it's like a clear vision or, you know, a certain mapped out idea, usually it's not. Usually it's not even like, you can't even see it. It's just a vibe or a whisper of it basically. But if I've been shown it, then it's available. It's not made up. It's not separate to me. I'm only shown what's actually available. You could go into quantum physics here, but it might be a whole nother conversation.
I love it.
One of my favorite topics. It's available. It's available specifically for me. Like I'm not being shown your vision unless obviously I got that download, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's also available now. It's not like, ooh, it's for the future. It's for 10 years from now. It's for when I'm grown up and good enough and my hair looks great.
Yeah.
Mine does today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's available now. And so then that's a certainty thing. That's just like, that to me is a policy of how you want to live life. It's a life philosophy that I choose to live by and, you know, my belief system and how I then operate. So from that place of certainty, I'm unavailable to not obviously have that come to fruition. Like I'm just going to be, you know, like a diva about it basically. Like it's just how it's going to be. I'm not available for any other concept. At the same time though, and this is what a lot of people struggle with, there has to be surrender. So it's kind of this thing of like, I'm completely fucking unavailable for anything except what I see. This is how it's going to be. This is my freaking order. Okay, deliver it. Off you go. And then at the same time, but if it doesn't happen, whatever, I'm going to be fine. I don't care. So people really struggle with the surrender thing. And for me, I got to a bit of a breaking point in 2013. I think you'd remember a little bit about this. I was pregnant with my second child and I ended up hospitalized for half of that pregnancy and living in hospital. And I had a really scary, rare condition. Where just tons of things are happening that I don't need to go into detail of. But I was told I might die. There was a risk of death for the mother more so than the child, and lots of other scary things that if I didn't die, this and this and this would have to happen. And gosh, it was such an experience of, you know, surrendering, because there's not many experiences in life, like pregnancy is one of them, where you really realize, like, I really have no control. And when you're living in the maternity ward with all the other scary pregnancies, it's just like, oh, this is the time to practice my beliefs, right? So it was such a full-on year, and it was a year of really holding the vision for what I believed was meant to happen, whilst at the same time surrendering. And I mean, I was throwing everything at it, like medical, they couldn't do anything except monitor me really, prayer and like, you know, prayer chain all around the churches in Australia, but also like kinesiology stuff and journaling and manifestation and beliefs and so on. And just holding that vision of, I don't think this is going to be my story. I don't feel that I'm going to die. And I also don't feel that this is my last child, because they wanted to remove my womb. I felt like, no, I'm not believing any of this. But at the same time, like, I have to surrender it, hand it over. If this is the end and this is my story and this is where my story ends, then it is what it is. And I have to, surrender that and hand it over. So my son, who I was pregnant with at the time, just turned 7 yesterday. So nothing bad happened. It was, a miracle manifestation. Amazing. It was amazing experience. But after that, because of how intense that year was, and my first child was 3 at the time, and it was so hard on her as well. It was so hard on everyone. It was such an energetic build-up. And so after Nathan came along, it was such a time of, like, you know, one of those moments in your life where you're just like, screw all of it. And it was like my eyes just opened and everything just fell away. And I just realized I don't even care. Like, if the road I'm on right now, where I was pushing, I was working hard, I was doing good work, I was making a difference, and I nearly had $1 million a year business at the time, but it wasn't coming from soul, and it wasn't like, it felt like this, you know, and I'd worked my ass off for years. So yes, I had got to a certain point, because momentum always creates an outcome, obviously. But deep inside of me, I just knew that there was a different way. And I said to my kid's dad, my partner at the time, if this is the pathway to $1 million a year business, I don't want it. I'll go back to the gym. I'll go back to full-time personal training. Here's what I'm going to do. And I fully surrendered in that moment. And I remember standing in the baby nursery and literally like speaking at the ceiling, like speaking to God. And I said, I'm going to just write and speak whatever I want. I don't care if anyone likes it. I don't give a fuck. Like, I was angry at myself, I guess. It was a good anger. But that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do it till the day I die. I'm just going to do what I feel called to do. And if I never make another cent again, whatever, like, I know how to make money in the gym. I'll just go be a trainer. There's plenty of ways to make money. But I didn't believe that was going to happen. And I just decided to go all in. And it was a true fuck this shit line in the sand moment. And I truly, in that moment, this might sound a bit dramatic, but I contracted my life. Like, I handed my life over. It was a moment of, I'm going to give my life for what I believe my life was given to me for, which is one of my core philosophies that I teach. Are you willing to give your life for what your life was given to you for? And I'll do it till the day I die, no matter what outcomes I receive. And I really meant it. And I then shut down the whole business as it was, like, walked away from a business that was nearly at $1 million a year. And I did. I went all in on my truth and my writing, and boom, 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 like, money just, like, really, honestly, I did have a good foundation, a lot of knowledge, obviously, so there's more to it. But within, I think, 6 months from that, I was 50K months. 8 months from that, I had my first 80K month. 10 months after that, I had my first 100K month. 9 months after that, I had my first 200K month. And now my business consistently does between 300, 450 a year with pretty minimal expenses, because it's an all online business and it's all soul led. Like, I'm one of the few people I know, worldwide, who can truly hand on their heart say, all I do every day is wake up and be in the freaking dance of being me. I do what I want. Like, I'm living the dream, and it's all flow and soul led. And everyone's like, oh, you know, like, you're lucky, or how did you do that, or whatever. And it's like, how many of you would actually be willing to hand your life over and walk away from business that was making that much money? Because I actually did it. And I think that's a core decision for every person. I certainly don't think you need to have some dramatic thing happen in life to push you to that, which did happen for me. It happens for a lot of people, that something will really push them. But you don't need to wait for that. You can choose that at any time. You can just throw your hands in the air now and go, you know what? Like, clearly the actual outcome I'm working towards here is not that I made $1 million or anything else, or that I, like, looked cool on the internet or whatever. The actual outcome is that when that final bell tolls, or even when I go to bed at night tonight and put my head on the pillow, that I can look back and go, I did the job of being me. I did what I believe I came here to do. That's what matters. So just throw everything else away, hand everything else over, and be willing to trust. And then simultaneously be the diva who's like, and I'm still going to get to have all that, because why would I not? It's infinitely available. But if I had to choose, I'll choose being fully me.
Yeah, I love that. There's a saying that I often tell my clients. It's when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, change must happen. It sounds like that moment for you where you sort of went from old world to new world, of that little frustration point was just a big point of decision making and sort of energy that then cultivated you to shift your whole life and move into a new realm. So do you feel that you said that control, you lost all of it in that moment, and really all that we can control in life is the meanings that we attach to things, right? So we're meaning makers in a meaningless world.
Yep.
From old world, what do you think the meaning you attached to your business or life was compared to that shift to now?
Yeah, that's a really cool and unique question. I've never heard that question before. I think firstly, it's never fully done. Like I'm already thinking of ways in which I'm still like holding on to controller attachment now, and what a great reminder that is. But I think the distinction is essentially doing things to try to get a particular outcome that you either want or feel that you need, as opposed to acting from that place of, if I were already there, if I were already being, if I was already in freedom, trust, expansion, whatever, abundance, you name it, then how would I be operating? So it's the operating toward as opposed to operating from approach. And actually I first heard that wording from someone at a mastermind I was at in Hawaii. And I remember one of the guys in the room who was one of the top most successful entrepreneurs in the room at the time, and him sort of explaining how he'd had the breakthrough of really blowing his income up. And he talked about that he made the shift to where he started to act from the place that he knew he was meant to be, and just continually put himself into that vision of, if I were there, if I were that person. And it was it was a great takeaway for me. This was years ago, but I still think about it a lot, and I teach on that a lot, and I certainly live into that for years now as well. And that was the difference. Back then, I was always fighting to, I guess, I wanted to like keep my head above water with money. So that was like real life, right? Like I spent a lot of time in over 140K of debt and couldn't even buy groceries sometime. Like it was real shit going on. So, when that's happening, you feel like, well, I have no choice. But in the end, I had to make a choice. And that was the only way I actually broke through. I allowed myself to free fall, and I stopped striving to have enough money or to be good enough or to be like accepted or be cool or validated or feel free or feel safe or whatever. And it was bit by bit realizing that all these things, you have it on a pedestal, like you just want to get to that point where you feel that your head's above water, and then you just want like a bit of surplus, and then you just maybe want to prove yourself as being one of the cool kids or whatever. We all have our different shit, right? And you want to feel free and you want to feel safe and so on, but you kind of put it up on a shelf. And what we need to do is to take it off the shelf and realize this is just like some idea that I've made in my head, that this is external to me and that I have to go and get it and strive to attain it. And what I'm going to do instead is realize that the only place I will find that stuff, corny but true, is within. And until I can choose that it's already available to me now, I'll eternally be striving to try and get it and then never feeling like I'm actually there. So that was the shift, going from I'm trying to get and I'm trying to work towards to going into I've got everything I need between God and soul and life. Like, what else do I actually need? Let me create now from that place. So, yeah, it's a great question, because it definitely makes me go, there's ways that I'm certainly still doing that now. It just kind of creeps up on you. Yeah,
100%. And so I think people like you and me achieve success because we're good at making decisions from the right place most of the time, we can safely say. And I think I see a lot of people that aren't achieving success, they're making decisions from a place of, I want to feel comfortable, compared to a place of embracing the uncomfortable or results. So when I'm talking to my team or I'm thinking about making a decision, I always have to question myself. Am I making this decision based on getting the optimal result or getting comfort? Because if I'm seeking comfort all the time, I'm going to do a whole lot of fuck all. And so what was the point? You clearly do this and you've done it for so long, so well, but where did you learn it? I mean, we met over health and fitness and training hard is what we do. We smashed a brutal leg session last week. Absolutely nailed it. We based that decision on results only, not comfort.
Alignment and flow.
Exactly.
Which is not always comfortable.
Exactly right. So where did you learn that? And then how has making decisions based on fucking results and not comfort served you the most?
Yeah, cool question as well. I would say I learned it in church, to be honest, if I really go back. I mean, I grew up in a super Christian family, like both sides of my family, both my parents. My grandfather was a preacher, my uncle was a preacher, minister as well. And we would do church like 5 times a week was normal.
Yeah.
Three or 4 minimum, like on a lazy week.
Yeah.
So I was always in church, and I was very like indoctrinated in a good way, by the way. I just want to say, because I know a lot of people have experiences with church or religion that are very contractive and, pushing them down and making them feel not worthy. I actually had the opposite experience, had a great church experience. I still have a great church experience to this day. And to me, it was always like being reminded that you have a purpose and a calling and a destiny, and that it's actually all the stuff I teach now. Like I look back and see that from when I was, 7 or 8 years old, and singing these songs. Like I remember this song that was my favorite song, like I have a destiny, I know I shall fulfill, I have a destiny in that city on the hill. That's the lyrics of the song. And I remember being a little kid and singing it and just feeling this connectedness to the idea of destiny and to purpose. And I don't know that the word alignment was used, maybe no. But yeah, I could feel all that long before I understood it. And then as time went on, and I think it was also just naturally ingrained into my beingness, because lots of different things throughout growing up where I'd essentially go against soul, not that I would have worded it that way at the time, but then realize and be like, well, I don't actually care. Like I don't care if it's going to cost me, being popular or, well, I wasn't that popular at all growing up, but being popular with the teachers. I was popular with the teachers or being whatever, right? I don't care. Like I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. So it was definitely a beacon within me, like a thing that I kept dialing into. I just had it in me that I have to follow that core truth. And then different moves that I did make throughout my life that obviously went against that and came back to bite me, or you learn your lesson or whatever. And you just bit by bit realize more and more that there's nothing that can, there's nothing that is worth it to pay the price of your soul. And at the same time, like yourself, I was always learning in seminars and personal development and, listening and watching, amazing people, and you just kind of pick up different things here and there. And then part of what you do pick up in the personal development industry when you get really into it is you see a lot of people that truly are out of alignment and that are doing things just to try and make money or get an outcome, and you can feel it. I mean, maybe not everyone can feel it, but I think everyone can feel energy and so on. And so you notice all the things where you're like, that's like feels gross to me. I don't want to do that. And I also don't want to believe that I have to do it. And I'd get really kind of angry, or I'd go through like a grieving thing where I'm like, is that what I have to do? Okay, maybe that's what it takes. And maybe it's not that bad, and I'll just like deal with it. Like I don't even mean anything terrible. I'm just talking about stuff that didn't feel amazing for me. Yeah. And putting yourself through like, okay, this is how business works. And then kind of getting to that breaking point inside of yourself where you're like, nah, I don't even fucking care. Like, I don't care. I'm just going to go do this thing over here. And then repeatedly I would experience at different points along the journey that when I kind of went, fuck it, and I did my thing, is when I dropped into what I now understand to be flow. And it was like a magic portal. Like it was like the heavens opened and ideas came through and creativity and magic, and you felt like almost like caught up in a whoosh of being supported by life itself. And I guess after that happened enough times, and it did happen because I was repeatedly experimenting with new things and picking myself up off the floor, eventually I noticed the patterns. And I think it was about 2012 or so that I started to really pay attention to that pattern and be like, hang on, let me just make a list of my 7 million different business ventures that I've tried and the ones that actually like worked to whatever degree and felt good and were good for the, customers as well. And that felt easy, and like what were the similarities. And I actually sat there and did that and wrote this list of like my top most successful things from over the years, little things, big things, whatever. Yeah. And I looked, what are all the patterns here? And I was like, all of these things were kind of like made up, pulled it out of my ass, flying by the seat of my pants, had no clue what I was doing, messy as fuck, but I was in it, and I was, in the vibe of it and enjoying it and feeling alive. And so I just gradually like learned from that and then started after that to really, I guess, kind of deeply come to understand it in terms of how to actually access flow and access the supernatural and the quantum stuff and really get into the intricacies of it. Yeah,
I love that. It's powerful. And so mindset is such a crucial part of, I think, just good living in general, number one, but just in business and entrepreneurial land, having quality thinking processes and being able to use your mindset in the right way, I believe is just the foundation. And so you work with a lot of people with mindset, and I know your mindset is incredible. And I guess I want to know or share with the listeners, what mindset challenges do you see the most in sort of entrepreneurs at the moment that are starting or growing their businesses? And what do you think they are, and how do you think they need to shift?
I would say two key things that I've noticed again and again, having now privately mentored hundreds and hundreds of amazing leaders and thousands in my group programs and whatever more through my free content. The top two patterns I noticed are, number one, feeling like my message or my vision or my thing that I want is not clear enough and it's not tangible enough, and so it's not really real. And I need to get something that's clearer, more tangible and real. That's one. And the other one is permission, not giving themselves permission to just be who they are, be fully them, do it their way. Because, well, fear, I guess, the conditioned ideas that the way to create your success, that somebody else has the keys to that, and that you have to find that person or that system, and then you have to get it unlocked, and then you have to implement it correctly. Otherwise, you're going to fail at being you, which is really illogical if you actually like talk about it that way. Like, that sounds pretty stupid, but that's what most people believe, you know, without thinking about it. So for me, what I seek to do when I'm coaching people, whether it's one-to-one or through my groups or even through free content, is just really like again and again and again drum it into people. Hey, no, whatever you can see now, like whatever the vision or the idea or your message or your thing is now, no matter how much you think it's vague, you think it's silly, you think it's lame, it's embarrassing, or it doesn't really make sense, or it's not going to work or whatever, you don't need any more clarity. You don't need it to be more tangible. You don't need to add anything else to it. You don't need to try and trick it up. Whatever's there now is enough. It has to be, because like this is today. Life is now, right? It's not tomorrow. So whatever you have right now is already enough. You're enough. You know, like, again, corny little moment, you're enough, you're ready, you have what it takes, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, of course you're going to keep learning more stuff and growing and evolving, but that's a given. Like, people who are listening to this, we couldn't sit on the couch and just eat Doritos till we die if, you know, if our life depended on it. We don't have it in us. We're naturally going to keep learning, growing, evolving and getting better at sharpening that internal saw. So you don't have to worry about like helicopter parenting yourself in order to keep yourself growing and learning. Just forget about it. You're going to do it naturally anyway. And then know and understand that whatever you've got now, whatever you've got today has to be enough for today. How do you know? Because it's what you fucking got today. So work with it and then just understand that it will grow and evolve over time. But what you won't do is you won't wait for clarity and wait for certainty and wait to be, I don't know, approved by whoever you're waiting for approval from, and then jump in and create something amazing. No, eventually you'll be a year older and you'll still be waiting to feel ready, but you'll be a bit older, and then you'll be like, well, maybe I better get on with this, which is, you know, something that hopefully happens. And for a lot of people, it doesn't. They just keep waiting to be ready or be enough. And then the permission thing obviously links to that, to just go, I'm just going to take a deep breath and give myself permission to go all in on this shit, no matter how much I feel like I might be breaking rules, doing something appropriate, making a fool of myself, or I'm going to fall on my face. It's like, okay, whatever. Like, that's life. Be willing to roll with the punches, you know?
Yeah, so true. I think that's such an important thing to mention to anyone wanting to start a business or just fucking do something cool. Everyone feels those fears. Everyone second guesses themselves at the start. I remember when we opened our first center, and I'm like, I've told this story many times. I'm like, can I even do this? Can I raise capital? Am I enough to actually do this? Am I born to be an entrepreneur? I don't fucking know. What are people going to say if I fail? Again, all of these stories and fears start coming out constantly, and I think it's so right. You have to trust 100%. How much do you think detaching, we mentioned about this a little bit before, but detaching or learning to detach from fear, detaching from the outcome, detaching from the emotions and the resistance, how important do you think that is to success in entrepreneurship?
It's so funny you ask this. I just was doing a Zoom mastermind with my private high-level clients this morning. We spent ages talking about this exact topic.
Yeah, nice.
Because, like, detachment is one of the gateways to receiving. Detachment is part of surrender. One of my rules for myself is, as soon as I notice I'm in attachment about something, I have like a little visual that always pops into my head, like a balloon that's on a string, and then you just snip the string. I've done this to clear exes out of my life as well. Just a little tip, like snip, snip, bye. So long. And watch them in my mind float away into the sky. It works.
Take notes. Take notes, people.
Write that shit down. Relationship coach. Yeah, so I just get this balloon visual all the time. But anything, right? Like anything where I'm like, I'm attached to this idea. Like I got myself super attached to having to journal years ago. And like I have a whole course on how to journal your way to rich, successful, free. It's one of my best-selling courses. And I really believe in journaling. I've journaled for decades now, like 3.5 decades actually. I started when I was 6. So I believe in it. I actively use that as a tool to create my life. But I noticed I was in so much attachment around journaling that I would have like a meltdown if I couldn't journal. I remember one of our mutual friends, Kat Tassone, getting married and I was a bridesmaid, and I was like, shit, like she wants us at the bridesmaids breakfast at 7 a.m. I got to journal, I got to work out, I got to write, I had all these rules of things I had to do, and I would make myself do them back in that era. And then eventually I was like, wow, like I'm so attached to the idea of journaling that I've actually contracted that powerful tool and made it into an obligation and a should. And so I say, even with like positive habits or things that have worked for you, this is what I was talking with my clients about this morning, something's worked for you, maybe that's made you money or got you what you want with your body or in a relationship or life or whatever. And then you take that thing and you make it into I have to or else. That's when you know, like snip, snip, cut that habit away. Like I actually wouldn't even let myself now go to the gym or yoga or things that I do like to do pretty much daily if I'm doing it from a place of you have to or else you're going to like gain 10 kilograms by tomorrow or whatever my crazy mind is thinking in that moment, right? I'll be like, no, you're not allowed to go now until it's coming from a place of surrender. So detachment's pretty key because it puts you into, attachment puts you into a contracted energy where you're like holding on and you're tense and you're brittle and you just like, if you're holding on, you're not in expansion, you're not open to receiving, you're not going to get those creative downloads and ideas and flow coming through, and you're not that attractive or magnetic energetically either to whoever or whatever it is you're calling in. I mean in business, but also this is true in personal life as well. So that's true. At the same time though, I was saying to my clients today, we don't want to get attached to the idea of having to be detached because people get that as though they're like, oh my God, I'm probably not making money because I'm in attachment and that's why my launch isn't working. It's like, yeah, maybe it fucking sucks, right? Like, or maybe that's just the vibe right now and you've got to pick up that bat and take another swing. So I think that anything that's true is also equally not true, which might be an annoying statement, but it's kind of about realizing that you've just got to be in that discernment moment to trust that you make the right choice and to back yourself with whatever you're feeling right now. And if you're getting hung up and attached on something, well, maybe there's just some lesson there that you're getting to learn and that, you need to learn.
Yeah, and I think that's a learning process, isn't it? Because I think that can sound a little bit confusing for some people. I mean, finding the balance between, putting pressure on yourself to actually fucking get in the gym and do something, or there's so many things we don't want to do, but we have to do in order to kick ass and win. And then obviously balancing that out with detaching and also being in flow. And I guess that's a journey you got to go on to decipher how you're making decisions. And again, sort of goes back to what we stated before, making decisions based on, am I just not wanting to because of comfort, or am I after the result? And making decisions based on rationale, logic, as well as tapping into the emotional side, right?
Totally. And one of my little practices that I use is, particularly if I'm not sure about something, which could even be what to order on the menu, let alone some big business decision or a tricky situation that maybe you feel like you don't know how to handle or move forward with, I'll just kind of pause. Like my saying is life is now press play, but it's also sometimes press pause, not play, and just wait and essentially tune in and connect in and wait until I'm shown the move to make, rather than being out there kind of like hacking away, blindfolded essentially and hoping that something will hit home. Just be in the pause and be in the void and be in that awareness just for a moment even of, well, I'm going to choose the belief system that I can always access the guidance or the answer that I need. And I'm going to choose the belief system that I always make the right decision, so that even if things are fucked up, I'm going to say, well, if I had the belief that I make the right decision, then I guess that's what needed to happen. So now how am I going to roll with it? Just gives you kind of that freedom rather than like, oh my God, I'm bad or I did the wrong thing or whatever. So I'm going to choose all these things, which is going to remind me that I can make the right choice in this moment. I have the discernment and the ability to make the right choice. And whatever choice I make is right. How do I know? Because I made it. And so then I'll roll with that from there. So it's kind of just having some fundamental belief systems in place, which obviously you learn and develop over time to give yourself the ability to just keep moving forward and showing up. But anytime I truly feel uncertain about something, I'll kind of like step away from the situation in my head and just like clear my surface emotions that I might have around it, depending on what it is, and go into that place in my mind where I'm like, there's a place where I can look at this objectively and know and trust the move that I need to make. And because of my life and business experience, I do know enough, as you've referenced, to know that no matter how uncomfortable or confronting or scary the move is, if I'm shown the right move, I better fucking make it and do it soon as well. Otherwise, I'm just going to have life keep throwing these same lessons back at me. So I think that like you can learn that from listening to someone else, but really you do learn it over time, because at a certain point you're done enough with your own bullshit that you're willing to just kind of be bigger than it and go, okay, from now on the personal policy is I'll make the move that I'm shown to make instantaneously, no matter how confronting or scary it is, because I just trust that when I act from alignment rather than comfort, that I'm going to ultimately get to where I want to go, even if it, you know, stirs some shit up in the short term.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Let's talk about some dark shit, shall we?
Yeah, cool.
So again, people look at people like you and me sometimes and they think that we're constantly positive and everything's always rosy in life. And one thing's for damn sure, business is sometimes war. Yep. Sometimes science, sometimes sport. It's a crazy mix of all these epic things. And there's a lot of dark moments in business because you're challenged by external factors, internal factors, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to ask you, has there been a moment, or is there multiple moments where you've been in a dark place because of whether it's life or business? And how do you then decide, or what steps do you normally take to get out of those darker moments?
Yeah, cool. I think my business has been a bit of a savior for me in some ways, and particularly because I've utilized business as a way to flow into what I'm here for, rather than being, you know, really outcome focused on money or anything else, and learning that lesson several times over the years. So I guess some of the hardest times for me, like relationship stuff, probably like marriage breakdown, and the lead up to that, which certainly wasn't an overnight thing, obviously. I don't think it ever is with that sort of thing. So it was a gradual thing building up and trying to figure out and understand it for years. And, you know, not really realizing when you're in it just how full on and heavy and dark or whatever it is, and how much it's impacting your energy and your access to soul and your creativity and so on. I know for me, pretty much any hard, heavy times in my life, and that was a major one, trying to figure out the right move, or you know, trying to work on the relationship and then realizing bit by bit over time that it wasn't going to go that way. The business has been, or my messaging more so, which is my business, a big part of it, has been something that I've just leaned to and kind of looked to my writing as the thing that frees me and kind of cures me, like my work is my cure in a way. So I guess it's another part of my, like as a messenger and as someone who has something inside of them that they want to share with the world, I really believe that that's a big part of what messengers do, is we essentially are continually self-medicating with our own message, basically. And then if we're entrepreneurial and smart about it, we just learn how to make money from doing that. And that's what I did. So I got to say, I don't really feel like, I don't have points where I look back and remember at the time feeling so heavy or so dark, but I can see it now for what it is, and then I can see the contrast as well. Even if I look at old photos, I can visually see the contrast, and then kind of observe from this point in time, looking back and going, well, the thing that helped me and that got me through was I always just turned back to what would I be doing in this moment if I trusted, or what would I be doing if I knew that I get to create my life purposefully, and that the things I see inside of me are real, and that my visions and dreams get to come to life. But, you know, like anyone, I had so many moments of feeling lost or feeling despair or feeling like, you know, cliche stuff like God's forgotten me maybe, or even then becoming single and that side of things as well, then feeling like maybe I'm going to be single for the rest of my life and stuff like that. And just so many different things, business related, personal related, the business journey. You know, now I feel like for years I've been flying on the super flow wave, but really it went for years as well, where I just wasn't where I wanted to be, and I felt not good enough and lost and despairing, and as though maybe I would never get there, and maybe the things that I saw inside of me weren't going to come to life, and maybe it was just like a cruel joke that God was showing me these things, but it was like, no, not for you. You just get to look at it. So I had a lot of stuff that I guess I learned and not battled, maybe battled, or learnt to understand and clear along the way. And the thing is, though, I was just always in it. Like I was really good. And I guess a good takeaway for people is just be really good at being in whatever today is rather than, you know, like falling on the floor in the fetal position. I mean, I definitely did that a few times, but mostly it was like, I don't know if I can keep going. I don't know if I can survive. I don't know if I'm ever going to get there. And cool, what's my next move? Because I just didn't really know any other way to do it. And I guess that was what actually, that was kind of like my savior. Just, all right, well, I'm going to journal or I'm going to cry or I'm going to curl up on the kitchen floor in the fetal position. Definitely did that one time that I remember. But mostly I'm going to then go, well, let's just be logical about it. Like in the end, am I going to get there because I was worrying that I wasn't going to get there, or am I going to get there because I just took some action anyway? And I think I learned a lot of that sort of discipline. I think some of it was inherent. Some obviously learned from my parents and, you know, key people growing up. But I certainly learned a lot from fitness, you know, as you can relate to. Like fitness is such a great discipline part of life for people, and it was such a positive part of my life being in that industry for so many years. And I just think I really learned the power of discipline, and I learned about consistency. And so I would often draw on fitness stuff when I was in the thick of it with business. And I would say to myself, well, how would I approach, like what would my mindset be around this situation if it was a fitness related issue? I would know, you know, apply this principle and this principle, and just really like consistency and showing up and not being attached to like the outcome of, let's say, like looking at the scales each day or the measurements or whatever, but just being consistent day to day. And so I would keep just coming back to, let's just be in today's work today and trust in the bigger picture of what we're creating. And then once business was kind of like, really rocking and everything, and then the next kind of sticky area of my life was relationships, I did the same thing. I would just draw on my mindset from fitness and my mindset from business, and I'd be like, okay, well, notice where you're being just a complete weirdo and not in a good way, and that if you were acting that way in business, you'd be broke. So what are the mindset principles you want to apply over?
Nice. I love that. So recognizing the patterns in every facet of life. And I think that's such a cool realization as well, that pretty much every facet of life, if you run the similar system or the similar pattern, you're going to be successful. But isn't it funny that we go into these different areas and then we pretend like it's so unknown and we don't know who we are or how to behave, and we go back into childlike state, don't we?
It's so funny. Or we go into, I guess, looking for the expert or the guru that's going to tell us how to be ourselves.
Yes.
Which is fine, because it's one way that you definitely learn, whether you're learning because you see what you don't want or you learn some cool things along the way. But either way, in any area of life, to create success, in the end, it's going to be because I went all in on being me.
100%. Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. What is leadership to you?
That's an interesting one. I don't look at leadership from a perspective of, you know, like a lot of people consider leadership, maybe I'm thinking more like politics and so on, of being responsible to the people and essentially, serving the people. I actually don't think of it that way, which might sound like a inappropriate statement. I don't give a fuck whether I'm serving the people, to be honest. I'm serving, I guess, a higher source. I'm serving purpose, really, is the best way to say it. So to me, being a leader is actually, for me personally, and for a lot of individuals this will relate, it's just something that I was born to do. It was appointed before time began. It's just my fucking job. Like it's part of my identity. It's not something where I'm fulfilling, I don't know, stereotyped requirements or ideals of what a leader is. It's a natural outcome of me being me. A soul-led leader, which is the only kind of leadership I'm interested in, one that's from purpose, from mission, from truth and so on. It's just a natural outcome of you being you. Like I actually never tried to become a leader. I became a leader when I appointed myself a leader in the fitness industry at first, and then in the online space or the entrepreneurial world. It was a decision. It didn't happen because of my efforts or my works or what I did. And it also didn't happen because of how many people I helped, even though that was definitely a thing. It was a decision. It was me deciding I'll be that person. I'll plant that flag. And then truly it's been me being willing to ignore everyone's ideas of what is appropriate or what's required of me and doing whatever I want, which sounds selfish, and I guess it is, but really I will do whatever I want because I trust in myself. I trust in my own foundation. I trust that it's coming from the right place and that I can be free to follow, that inner guidance essentially, and that it's naturally like me being me just doing it my way. that it will naturally have a flow-on effect that does impact people, influence them positively, help them to drop deeper into whatever it is they need to learn and understand. And people naturally follow when I just be me. But certainly whenever I like tried to be a leader or tried to build a following, no, that's some icky shit. That definitely doesn't work. Yeah. It's more so when I'm like, you guys do whatever you want. I'm going to be over here basically being the queen of the world, and then cool, of course you're following because I'm doing some epic shit.
Yeah. I love that. So do you think leaders are born or made?
Born.
Yep.
I think you can learn elements of leadership, but probably more from a stereotyped, conditioned ideal of what leadership means.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I believe leaders and entrepreneurs,
which potentially is an unsustainable approach, right?
Yeah, and or typically comes with some sort of fallout or like at the cost of other things. So it's not what you would call in integrity or aligned. And you see that a lot. Like you see a lot of leaders who have sacrificed whatever other areas of their life in order to achieve a certain position, and they're burnout and exhausted behind the scenes as well because they're not, they're living under a regime basically, even if it's one they created in their own head. Yeah,
super interesting. So rituals, I'm all about it. And I think that they're super important because energy is the foundation. If we didn't have energy, we'd be fucked basically. And you've always been super high energy, but I think you cultivate that and create that and always have. And I choose to have that belief and mindset as well. Tell us about some of the rituals or how important you think rituals actually are for the entrepreneur or for the person who wants to go there and just kick some ass in the world.
Yeah.
How can they get fucking energized and how important is rituals in that process?
Yeah, so it's funny you said I've always been super energized. Like I consider myself someone who's battled a lot with energy over the years, but most people wouldn't know that, even people really close to me, because I'm really good at creating, like being my own supply basically. Actually, often on my Facebook live streams, I'm just like off my head talking shit, off my head on my own internal supply. And I'll get people like, what the fuck is this chick on? She's on drugs, she's high or whatever. I'm like, literally never. I've never taken any form of drugs in my life except caffeine. I'm just like that straight.
The best drug in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but I'm like, you're right. I am high. I'm high on my own superflow supply. I'm just like, so I like self-produce my own DMT over here. I actually read up on that. I learned all about it for real. So yeah, I know how to access energy. I know how to create energy. I mean, look, I understand it from numerous perspectives, like the fitness perspective, metabolic, energetic, supernatural, spiritual, you name it. Like I'm pretty well learned in these different things. And again, that's just being that person that's naturally interested in learning things. So that's certainly part of it. But I think in the end, it comes down to just living a life a certain way that has to do with acting from where you want to be rather than towards, as we mentioned before. So for me, there's plenty of times I don't feel like going to the gym or doing my writing or creating a piece of content or any number of things that might be, rituals or habits. And I think that one thing that helps me a lot is I always give myself permission to like not do what I said I would do, right? Like it's extraordinarily rare that I would actually let somebody down that I had like an appointment with or something. But even then I give myself permission. Like I just have a blanket rule that if I really, really, really decide I don't want to do something that I said I was going to do, I'm allowed to not follow through. I'm allowed to cancel. I'm allowed to back out. And one of my relationships, when it ended, he said to me something like, well, this is your thing, isn't it? You always walk away from everything. Like you're the person that walks away from everything. Friends, mentors, relationships, business ideas, you name it. And it like stung because it was true. But then I thought about it a lot since then. I always think about it and I'm like, yeah, but the one thing I've never walked away from is following soul and following what I believe is right for my life. I never walk away from that. So that's my grounding. And whenever I don't feel like doing something or I don't have like energy or I feel, lack of motivation or whatever it might be, or something's maybe going on in my life and I'm feeling sad or something, I'll just go into, okay, but what would trust or following soul look like right now? Yeah. And another little trick I use is I'm allowed to not do anything. Like if I want to stay in bed all week, I'm allowed to do that. I give myself permission to do what I want from that place of permission so that I don't feel like I'm being told what to do because, we hate to be told what to do even if it's by ourselves. Yeah. So from that place of permission, an hour from now, what do I want to look back on what would have been the aligned choice? Yeah. Or at the end of today when I go to bed and put my head on the pillow, what would have been the aligned way to live my day? Like is it the actual aligned or soul-led decision to go to the gym, to do the recording, to do the thing? and then I will make my choices that way. So I'm acting from where I want to be. It's so rare that I would skip out on anything, whether it's fitness, business, you name it, because I don't feel like it. Like I say a lot, just remove emotion and do the fucking work. And sometimes people are like, well, that's just being a robot. I'm like, no, I'm talking about not paying attention to your surface bullshit and instead going into that place within you that does exist, and just trusting as well that when you make space for flow, flow will show up for you. It's like the whole muse thing, like, oh, waiting for the muse. It's like, no, there's this great quote, which is in a Stephen Pressfield book. And he quoted a friend of his, and he said, oh, yeah, you definitely, as a writer, you definitely should wait for inspiration. You should wait for the muse. How fortunate is it that every day when I sit my ass in the chair at 9 a.m, the muse shows up? I guess I'm lucky. And I was like, yeah, that's good. Like, you got to make space for it, and then it shows up. So anytime I'm not feeling that energy or that vibe of being me, I'll go, well, I'll go put myself in that space. I'll sit my ass in the chair, I'll press go live, or I'll start writing, or I'll get into the gym, or whatever it is. And I'm just going to trust that the flow will kick in. And it usually does. But if it doesn't, whatever, like I'm not going to look back and be like, gee, you know, what a shame that I showed up all those times for my writing and my message and my dreams and goals when I didn't feel like it. Like, obviously I'm going to be like, that's how I got there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that. And how good Stephen Pressfield, by the way.
Oh, one of my favorites all time.
Yeah. So isn't it funny when sometimes you just need something to arrive for you, and the War of Art sort of came to me at the perfect time.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Actually, me and Jace were talking about this when we first met, but just such an incredible book. And you remember when I started Ultimate You?
Yeah.
And I had so much resistance and fear, and that book just like set me straight. It's like
I love him.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's one of my top favorite writers, and his more recent book, The Artist's Journey, is.
Yes.
I think that's where he says it. It's in one of the final chapters. He says, when you show up for the goddess will show up for you, which is, like a philosophy that I'd embodied for years, but I'd never put it into those words.
Yeah.
And I just remember reading that and being like, whoa, like full goosebumps.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, he's amazing. So guys, go check out that book. Now, Kat, I want to play a bit of a game of rapid fire. Cool. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
And this is to get to know you a little bit more.
Yep.
And of course, I'm going to just throw some words at you as well. And so you answer the question or you answer the word, but we'll go from there. So Are you more introvert or extrovert?
Introvert.
Are you more nurturing or hard-nosed?
Hard-nosed.
Are you an optimist or a pessimist?
Ooh. I think pessimist, and that's what drives me.
Hey, there we go.
That's an uncomfortable one.
Yeah. Are you a soldier, a captain, or a visionary?
Visionary.
Nice. All right. Tell me what comes to mind. I am?
Truth.
I hate?
People.
Hey! I like it.
That's true.
I love?
But I love them as well.
I love?
My kids.
Sacrifice.
Easy.
Pain.
Gain.
Problems.
Great.
The future is?
Whatever I choose.
Oh, nice. Drop the mic. I love that. That was really good. That was really good. So, Kat, I got one last question for you.
Yep.
If you could go back in a time machine, we could take you back to little Kat. What lessons, little cute Kat, what advice would you give Kat and to help you grow into the woman that you are now, I guess, because you're living your dream. You truly are. You're killing it. Yep. You are who you want to be authentically, and that's what we all love about you so much. And what would you tell her to speed that process up?
I would say decide bigger, faster.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's the planting of the flag thing that I mentioned before as well. Like just appoint yourself as that leader, appoint yourself as whatever it is that you see inside of you, rather than dancing around the edges of it for years or looking for validation or approval or looking for the way that you will get there, because it's not going to go away. Like whatever you see inside of you, it won't go away a year from now or 5 or 10. It will still be there. You'll be like a broken record, still thinking or talking or journaling about it, and you'll just be older, as I mentioned before. So just decide, just transcend all of the things that you think you need to do to be allowed to be that person. There's no way that you are not already allowed to be fully you. That makes no sense. You're already equipped. You're already approved, signed off on. Just decide and just launch yourself out there. Exactly like you said with the gym. and, you know, so many other things that both you and I have done along the way. So, yeah.
I love that. So, guys, I think there's so many amazing takeaways that you can grab, and you do some incredible writing. I love your posts. Your socials are incredible. It's just super inspiring. Where can our listeners find more of you?
Yeah, so you can go on social. I'm pretty easy to find, mainly on Insta or Facebook at Katrina Ruth or The Katrina Ruth Show. You can also go to thekatrinaruthshow.com, and I know we got some free shit there for you for sure. Or subscribe and get my free daily newsletter, The Daily Ask Kickery for Revolutionary Fucking Leaders.
Love it.
And maybe if we do show notes, we can put in a link for some specific free trainings. Like I've got a really cool one on becoming the leader now, and I've got a free 4-part video series that's so good, which is on everything you know about success is wrong.
I love that. Well done. Kat, the rebel fucking millionaire, thank you so much for joining me. I had a blast. I hope you enjoyed.
So good.
And everyone listening, I hope you enjoyed as well. So go visit Kat's socials, say hello, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Namaste.